If you only developed one thing growing up in Youngstown, it would have been street sense. You know, you could get a kind of a gauge on what a person was like pretty quickly.
If you are unfamiliar, this is Ed O'Neill, the actor who played Al Bundy on the beloved sitcom Married with Children, as well as Jay Pritchett on Modern Family. And he has a bone to pick with Donald Trump and the Republicans.
You got a pretty good idea of what this guy was like pretty fast, which is all bullshit. Yeah, you would never listen to a guy like Trump in those earlier years in Youngstown. Nobody would. They'd just laugh at him, you know, for being the braggart, the arrogant liar, taken care of by his daddy, you know, a guy who never really worked hard in his life. A guy in Youngstown, you wouldn't want to have a drink with him. You wouldn't sit down and have a beer with a guy like this.
This is a perfect line of attack to go after Trump. Growing up in a working class family and community in Youngstown, Ohio, O'Neill sees right through Trump's fraudulent populist persona for who he really is, a perpetual failure of a trust fund baby with an ego problem that leads him to do outlandish things like this to protect his carefully cultivated public image.
On the 15th hole of one of his golf courses, I don't know the name of it, on the Potomac River, right? He's got a plaque that he's quoted on the plaque as saying this is where the Blood River battle took place. And I'm proud to honor both North and South soldiers who fought here on this historic spot, where so many lost their lives that this Potomac River became red with blood. Only one problem, there was never any such battle. He made it up. What kind of a man would do that? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's the smallest things that tip you off.
It really is the smallest things that say the most about how mentally unwell Donald Trump is. The plaque reads, "Many great American soldiers, both of the North and South, died at this spot. The casualties were so great that the water would turn red and thus become known as the River of Blood. It is my great honor to have preserved this important section of the Potomac River," with his name signed at the bottom, of course. It takes a special type of narcissism, obsession with one's public perception, and level of greed to think that one could get away with fabricating a Civil War battle on a golf course, just so you could squeeze more money out of guests while simultaneously both siding the Civil War. But we're already familiar with that aspect of Trump's personality.
It's on both sides, sir. You said there was hatred, there was violence on both sides.
Well, I do think there's blame. Yes, I think there's blame on both sides. You look at both sides. I think there's blame on both sides, and I have no doubt about it, and you don't have any doubt about it either. And if you reported it accurately, you would say you had some very bad people in that group, but you also had people that were very fine people on both sides. You had people in that group, excuse me, I saw the same pictures as you did. You had people in that group that were there to protest the taking down of, to them, a very, very important statue and the renaming of a park from Robert E. Lee to another name. And to our country, when they do that, we got a lot of work to do. They're poisoning the blood of our country. That's what they've done. They poison mental institutions and prisons all over the world, not just in South America, not just the 3 or 4 countries that we think about, but all over the world. They're coming into our country from Africa, from Asia, all over the world. They're pouring into our country. Nobody's even looking at them. They just come in. The crime is going to be tremendous.
Defending Confederate statues, equating literal Nazis and other white supremacists to counter-protesters and anti-fascists, and co-opting the Big H's rhetoric has only further normalized and inflamed the bigotry and racism that exists in our country. And look no further than this recent mistakenly reposted video of Trump's Truth Social account showing the same rhetoric and imagery. It would be great if we could just dismiss all of this as the rumblings of an insanely racist and insecure man, but when that man is loved and supported by a huge chunk of our nation, and given the context of him refusing to publicly accept election results, we have to take this rhetoric from Trump and the minions doing his bidding across the country incredibly seriously. Ed O'Neill recognizes this as well.
Ed O'Neill might now be giving back the honorary degree he received that day to Youngstown State University because the university has hired Republican Congressman Bill Johnson to serve as the next president of Youngstown State. Congressman Johnson, who represents Youngstown, has no professional experience in education and a questionable relationship with the truth. Because Congressman Johnson voted against the truth that Joe Biden won the last presidential election, Congressman Bill Johnson is one of the Republican members of the House of Representatives who violated his oath of office by voting to overturn the presidential election.
I mean, an election denier. He's not the biggest fan of the gay community. He's anti-choice. He's just a polarizing, far right-wing fanatical guy. And a university atmosphere, the faculty, the students, the alumni, they don't want somebody like this. It's out of place. You know, this board of trustees that gave us this guy, you know, 3 of them donated over $70,000 to Johnson's campaign.
Those board members are Charles George, who made 20 donations to Johnson's campaign over the past decade, Richard Freed, who donated 11 times from 2013 to 2021, and Joseph Carolla, who donated 18 times from 2009 when Johnson was first elected, up until 2021. Their donations totaled over $86,000 since Johnson entered the House in 2010. Corruption and conflicts of interest aside, isn't it curious and convenient that all these clowns are CEOs of various companies? That surely has nothing to do with their support of Johnson and the national Republican-led campaign to continue eroding all levels of our education system. Shout out goes to Megan Henry of the Ohio Capital Journal for all the fantastic coverage and reporting.
It's kind of like the bully, you know, that outweighs you by 100 pounds. And when you give them logical reasons why they shouldn't be doing this, they say, what are you going to do about it?
The sentiment O'Neill just expressed prevails nationwide among every level of government that the Republican Party has captured. It's not enough to just spit in the faces of anyone who isn't on their team with harmful policies. They have to rub in the fact that there's almost nothing we can do to quell the real corruption that's happening between elections.
I was very proud of it, and but I can't keep it. It doesn't mean anything to me now. If the university would do a thing like this, it's a slap in the face to all of us, and I can't have it. I'm giving it back. I just have to find the right way to do it. You know, I want everybody to know I'm doing it, and I think it's important that people know that I'm not keeping it.
It is a slap in the face, but it's felt most by the students, faculty, staff, and anyone else affiliated with the university who knows that the new university president does value their humanity equally as he does others. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.